The silver price is on the rise. Plus, we'll take a look at gold and platinum. This is your weekly price update and analysis brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold and Silver Standard. My name's Joe. Let's start with silver, then do gold, then do platinum. Use the time codes below to click to your favorite metal. Here is silver on the weekly time frame. We're using the tradingview.com website and it's priced in US dollars, $24.30. We missed last week's analysis, so let's go back 2 weeks to the last video, and we were hovering around about $22.90. Let's pop on the indicators and go to the daily time frame. Looking good. However, there's a couple of hurdles that we need to get over, so let's quickly have a look at those. Pop into the daily time frame. Let's see where we've come from in the last couple of weeks. So $22.90 was around about here a couple of weeks ago. So in that video, the last one, I'll put a link above to that now. What we were talking about is the fact that we'd broken down back through this symmetrical triangle pattern. It's a big one, very large one, going back to January of 2021. You can see there's the first point of it there. Oh, actually, well, really, the start of it going back to March of 2020, the low. So the uptrend line going through the lows there, the downtrend line going through the major highs. There's the symmetrical triangle pattern. We had broken out, then we'd broken back down. We tried to break out, that was a fake out. Then it was looking great, and then not so much. So we were back down. And what I was suggesting, what we were talking about, was this purple box area here of between $22 and $22.50 has been a significant level of resistance and support and resistance. And I was suggesting we'd probably visit this box, and we really need to see that hold though. And if we didn't see that hold, we're going to head down to this area. Luckily though, in the last couple of weeks, what happened? We broke down. We spent a little bit of time in this purple box area, technically a low of $22.20 US, that is roughly. And just in the last few days, fantastically great to see a beautiful breakout. Look at that move. This is, let's look at this on the, what kind of price range are we talking? So a move so far of nearly 10%, 9.5% just in the last few days. Pretty good for precious metals. So beautiful move back out above this symmetrical triangle pattern. So number one, that's a positive, but we do have some hurdles to get through. So here are the couple of hurdles. Number one, you can see this new trend line I've just drawn in. It's a little interim trend line right here. Definitely want to see that break above. You'll probably see resistance here somewhere, but we want to break above and hold that and probably come back and test that as support before we head on our merry way to the very infamous $26 level. For all my new subscribers, I know I beat this drum many times, but for the new subscribers who join us, daily new subscribers, and of course many in this last couple of weeks, $26 right here. I know there's a lot of lines going on here, but you can see that $26. Very infamous level of support during the last bull run of the sort of 2010, 2011 era. It was a whole bunch of support up until 2013, and then it finally broke through. And then in the last few years, 26 right here has been a level of resistance where it has broken through but failed to hold as support for any decent length of time, no more than a month and a half, something like that. So it's been a number of failed attempts to break and hold this level of 26. Then it was resistance, and then that low, and then more resistance just recently. 26 is massive. So the point I'm trying to make is what we really want to see, obviously, is breaking above and holding above this trend line, and then we'll make our merry way to 26. I think this time will be a charm, but if history rhymes, then you may see it as a resistance again. But on the shorter term time frame, the resistance levels, I would say here, this purple box we're back in. So I've been talking about this. This is the level of $24 to $24.50 and has been a level of support and resistance. That's why I have this band drawn in, this purple box. So maybe expect some resistance possibly at this level here of $24.50. If not, when we break through that, consider this downtrend line to be the resistance point. Very likely. Look, 10% in the last few days. Expect some red days possibly coming. Don't expect it just to sail through and go straight to 26 and then on our merry way. So those are the couple of hurdles, 24.50, this downtrend line before we get to 26 eventually, which we will, I think, fingers crossed. We also need to factor in, let's take a look at the relative strength index as well. And this is on the daily time frame. So you can see that we bottomed out here, and that was at that low of $22.20. That would have been a good area to consider, releasing some dry powder and getting back in, or buying some more. Or if you are dollar cost averaging and you happen to catch that bottom, well, congratulations. You can see the bottoming out here on the relative strength index on the daily time frame, that is. So we've shot back up. So take into account that we're moving into overbought territory soon on the daily time frame for silver. Again, this is spot US dollars. So again, you've got to do your conversion for your own currency. Most people watching this may be based in Australia. So of course, the USD floats against the AUD, so you have to take that into account. But let's take a look at the weekly time frame. Any hurdles there? So on the relative strength index, the great thing is we have held so far this area of support of that 42 level on the relative strength index down here, if you can see that. What I would take note of, let me see if I can pop that in, little trend line. We have yet to break out of it. So on the weekly time frame, we've yet to break out of this little downtrend line on the relative strength index. So technically, I have to say on the weekly time frame, we are still trending down on the relative strength index. Once this breaks out and holds above it, then I can say that weekly RSI downtrend has been broken, and then it's looking more positive that we see some higher prices in the coming weeks. So that's the other little hurdle we just need to take into account. But again, on the daily time frame, looking good, but you always have to look at the longer time frames as well. And we're coming into overbought territory. So just bear all that in mind. It's looking positive for silver, but we're not out of the woods just yet. So that's my opinion. The next targets, I would say just watch out for, again, a test of this downtrend line here, of this major symmetrical triangle pattern. That could be anywhere down to about 23 US dollars. You may possibly see $24 here as a little area of support, but the areas of resistance, 24.50, and again, that area right there. And sailing through there, as I've said, 26 may be a level of resistance. If we break through 26 and hold, I'm going to say, wow, we are absolutely on our way, shaking, bull market full, we are in full bull. But a little bit of no man's land, looking positive though, so far. Great to see that 10% move in the last few days. That is silver. Let's take a look at gold. Gold has not moved as high as silver had. We have seen a little bottoming out, well, actually a decent bottoming out on the daily time frame. I'll just show you the gold to silver ratio for 1 second. That will show you that silver has been outperforming gold in the last few days. Good to see if you're all silver, or if you're playing the gold to silver ratio because you want more silver in your hands, then seeing this move, seeing silver outperform gold, would be a positive for you. Let's take a look at that this is on the daily time frame. Looks like we're trending down. Looking like we're trending down. So it looks like silver may continue, at least in the next few days, to outperform gold. I would suggest this area right here of 75 ratio would be an area of support. And if we break through that, then I'm going to suggest this next area is going to be at 70. We'll do a longer term gold to silver ratio in another video. Bear in mind though, on the daily time frame on the gold to silver ratio, we are going into this if you can call it oversold on the daily time frame on the gold to silver ratio. So bear that in mind. It's traditionally, and has been for a while, if you can see, a decent level of support. Touches here, here, here. You go into extremely oversold in the gold to silver ratio. What that means is silver is becoming extremely overperforming versus gold. So you will see that reverse happening at some point, but possibly down here at that 75 level, you might see support. Let's go back to actual gold. Right here, and gold last time we were at around about $1,930 from memory. Yep, right there. And we had yet to come down to this area. Let me show you. So on the daily time frame, so we were still skirting around 1,930. Oh, so we were all the way back up here. That's not right, is it? No. Is that right? Yeah, no, it was 1,930. That's in the last 2 weeks ago. So here we are back here at 1,930. So we had been talking about this purple rectangular box, of course, talking about this longer term downtrend line. I was suggesting if we break through this general area of 1900, which was a major support level, if we broke through, then you'd come back down and visit this purple box area between $1,880 and $1,900. We certainly did that, and we bottomed out at $1,885. Just like silver, we've seen a beautiful move in the last few days at least. What you'll also note on the relative strength index on the daily time frame, all the way down into almost extremely oversold territory. So you can see you generally have a bit of a bounce in those areas. Sometimes you go into extremely oversold, but this area around about here is an area where people consider, all right, that's enough selling, time for some buying. So certainly some people have taken advantage of that. So you've seen that move. Let's talk about the hurdles. It's great to see, but we do have some hurdles in gold. Number one, at least on the daily time frame, the relative strength index, the halfway point, is yet to be broken, broken up above and cleared and held as support. Keep that in mind. And what else? We'd be looking at this downtrend line here. We'll do a little one. I would suggest we'll take it from the peak. Why not? So just bear in mind there's that little area of resistance right here on that downtrend line, and I would suggest also that this area here, or this purple rectangular box that I've had in at $1,960 to $2,000, $1,960 will be an area of resistance in my humble opinion. Certainly been an area of resistance and support before, so keep those areas in mind. 1930 as well, I have that previous line in, so I'll say interim level of resistance, $1,930 breaking above this downtrend line, I should say, you'd find 1960. So the major levels of resistance moving higher, 1,930 and 1,960 US dollars. Let's see what we do in the next few days. Breaking down from here, I would suggest that if we break down in the next few days and we come back down through this trend line, that's going to be taken out very easily, 1880, and then we'd be on our way down into no man's land territory. I would suggest right here, if you can see that. I'm sure you can. This stuff is not too hard to detect. You just look at areas of previous support and resistance. I would say an interim level of support, can you see that right here, would be at 1,860 US dollars if we do break down. So that would be a definite support area that I could see. So far though, looking positive. We just have some hurdles right there. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame. What does that tell us? Okay, so on the weekly time frame, yet to clear the halfway point on the relative strength index. You can very clearly see gold is still in its downtrend on the weekly RSI, the relative strength index. So it has yet to break that support. So that's a hurdle that we need to get over. So I'm looking more positive for silver than I am for gold. I would say silver will continue, also based on the gold to silver ratio, that silver will continue to outperform gold at least in the next few days, maybe a week or two. But it's great to see that we have at least seen a support level of that right here, that 1885 level. Post a comment below. Where do you see gold going and silver going in the next couple of weeks? Are you positive we're going to break straight through, or do you think we'll see some decent levels of resistance? Even in the long term, let's talk a couple of months from here. Where do you think gold and silver will be in a couple of months? You put your price predictions in the comments below and we can battle it out all together. Let's have a good conversation. So that is gold. My target's moving lower and my target's moving higher. Let's take a look at platinum. Poor platinum, although we've seen a bounce, so that's good to see. This is platinum on the weekly time frame. $928.50 US. A couple of weeks ago, we were at, where are we? We were at $903. So we'd seen that support level of $900. Let's pop on the daily time frame and get into the auto. So we did see right here, this is where we were roughly, we saw that $900 level. We're suggesting it may hold roughly as support, which it has, although we did see a lower low just in the last few days, down to $880 US. But like gold and silver, a nice little spring back. Interestingly, look at this, and I haven't drawn these in after the fact. These have just been in from the last number of videos, is that resistance level of $940. So just yesterday, we saw that creep all the way up to and find resistance at that $940 level, the bottom of this purple rectangular area, and that's a point between 940 and 960 US dollars. So definite level of resistance. What happens from here, we don't know, but let's look at a couple of levels. I've had these drawn in. This is at 915. I will keep that as a level of support. You can see it was a rough level of resistance as well, and you can see that level of support here. So if we do break down in the next day or two, watch 915 for a level of support. Breaking through there, you're going to find 900 as the level of support. If we don't hold 900, if we close below 900 on the daily, not looking good, probably back down to the 880, and then we're talking down to your, I would say, the 850 level, this next level of support right here. Breaking above the 940 level, let's say, for example, and this may not be how it plays out, but let's say, for example, we have 1 or 2 red days in platinum and we find 915 as support, then we might curl back up. We may find that 940 becomes not much resistance anymore because we've tested it already. So then you'd be back into this purple area. So definitely 960 would be the next major resistance level. And then we've got next week's analysis to do. So we probably wouldn't see any huge move above 960 in the next week. So I'll leave it at 960 for resistance, at least for the next 7 days. Happy to be completely wrong. We may sail through and go to the next levels, but let's leave it at 960 for now. And I'll leave my support target in the next 7 days. I'll leave it at the $900 level for now. So looking positive that we've possibly seen a bottom. It's great that we're back above 900. We just have a few more hurdles. Got some room to move on the daily relative strength index. So that's positive to see. And actually with a positive, we'll just note this right here. Can you see this? Let's take a look. On the relative, actually, no, it's a hurdle. No, I was wrong. That's a hurdle. So right there, I thought that had broken out. So just like silver and just like gold, there are a couple of key downtrend lines on the relative strength index, particularly on the daily time frames. Interesting how they all play out at the same time. So same thing, finding resistance right here on the relative strength index on the daily time frame. We need to see that break out and hold as support. So a potential couple of red days from here back to down to those potential support levels. Not surprising, seeing as though we're butting up against this downtrend line on the relative strength index. Okay, so that's my look at platinum. Let's maybe take a quick look at the weekly, and I'll get rid of that. On the weekly time frame, good to see on the relative strength index down here that we have still held this little support level as support, which is good, ticking up on the weekly time frame, but we do have those little hurdles as we were talking about on the daily time frame of the relative strength index, and that trend line's not there anymore, but you saw it before, and butting up against this 940 to 960 area. So those are my short calls for platinum. I'll reiterate very quickly: 915 first interim support, 900 big line in the sand, don't want to break that, and your resistance levels of 940 to 960 in the next 7 days. So that is silver, that is gold, and that is platinum. Post a comment below what you think is going to happen with the metals in the next 7 days, the next coming weeks. If you want to give me your big macro, what's going to happen in 2023 for silver and gold, please do. I actually made some videos at the start of this year. You probably won't see them come up here, but they are realistic price forecasts for 2023 in gold, silver, and platinum as well. We've done many videos since then, so if I can't find them right now, what I'll do is I'll put a link above right now to that little playlist of those silver, gold, and platinum price predictions or price forecasts, if you want to call it that. There's the first one, 2023 platinum price forecast, and then you have another one down here as the silver 2023 price forecast, and we did a gold one too. So of course, like this video, please share it around, and of course please subscribe to the channel for all the amazing stuff that we do. You get a weekly special on Thursdays that'll be coming later this afternoon. Of course, the bi-weekly, tri-weekly gold silver standard insights video, where we take the topic of the day that we've posted as an article on the Ainslie Bullion website, ainslieBullion.com.au, and then we do a breakdown and a discussion of it with one of our regular guests, regular panelists, and that's hosted by Chris Tipper, and we have lots of fantastic guests who join us for wonderful insights, so join us for that, and of course all the other amazing stuff that we do on the channel. Please balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care, and we'll see you next time.